So the world's over, demons won, humanity is toast. Amidst the ruins, one last pillar of defiance stands barely. And there is our boy Cheon looking like he has had a very asterisk bad day. Turns out this whole apocalypse kicked off 7 years prior. This big bad demon king gives his classic "you are all trash" speech real original. He powers up his evil-looking arm, ready for the final blow, saying Cheon's only purpose is to be a power-up snack lovely. A blast of red energy slams into our guy, but he is not going down easy. As he is getting torn apart, his thoughts turn to his sister, then his comrades, his master, everyone he has ever lost. Fueling his rage, he remembers they were all taken by these monsters, and he swears he is taking this demon king down with him. Our boy unleashes his SSS rank ultimate skill, Terminus Arc. This demon king is completely frozen, totally caught off guard. Because Cheon is literally turning himself into a living bomb. His life flashes by in broken shards, a memory of his sister, a glimpse of his master who he clearly looked up to, and then his parents with a final thought of regret. He fades away, wishing he could have been just a bit stronger. While the demon king gets vaporized mid-insult, talk about getting the last word. His final thought is pure regret, if only he'd been faster, wishing he could have stopped the very first demon king. Then maybe he would not have lost everything so damn early. Everything goes black until a light suddenly flicks on. Cheon's eye snaps open, still glowing a dangerous red, and he finds himself fully clothed on a narrow bed. Sitting up, he checks himself over, completely baffled that he is alive, but has absolutely no clue where this strange room is. He stumbles to the window, peering outside to see something impossible. A totally normal school campus, bustling with students. This completely breaks his brain. The world was supposed to be toast. But staring at his own reflection, the new reality sinks in. He's been sent back 10 years, right into his university days, and just then a system notification chimes in his head, confirming the power of gluttony has finished installing a lovely parting gift. This date on a nearby screen confirms it, May 16, 2157, which gives him a 3-year head start before the invasion. He remembers this is before the first demon king, Wrath, arrives, this one who opened the floodgates for all the other monsters, kicking off the apocalypse that cost Cheon everything he ever had. But now he is back with one single goal: take out the first demon king and slam the gates of hell shut for good. Right on cue, his new power of gluttony finishes its sketchy installation, and he has got this weird holographic interface floating in front of him, which looks less like a power-up and more like a corrupted file. This glitchy mess finally resolves into a full-on stat sheet, showing him at level 1 with all stats at 100. Yeah, that is not suspicious at all. This is totally new to him since he used to just fight with his awakened powers, which fell into one of these classic elemental RPG classes. He remembers this school where he was basically everyone's favorite punching bag, which explains why he woke up in the infirmary. Deja vu is a real jerk. As he is pondering his miserable past, the interface glitches again, this time showing a card for a lightning assassin class, and a flashback confirms that was his exact build in his past life. He can feel the old power inside him, wondering if he got to keep his stats, meaning he might have just awakened years ahead of schedule. Naturally, the first thing he does is try to equip it. But the door to his room suddenly snaps open, revealing some poor, bandaged-up kid named Ma Long, a flower chanter. This guy rushes in all worried, completely oblivious to Cheon holding a glowing god-tier cheat code. Cheon plays it cool, realizing his new cheat code is totally invisible to others, while his roommate Ma Long absolutely loses his mind, shocked that he is perfectly healed. And our boy remembers this is his old college buddy, Ma Long. He also remembers this kid got wiped out 3 days into the apocalypse, a grim reunion. Seeing his friend alive and well, it finally sinks in that he is really truly back. Ma Long, meanwhile, is just panicking about tomorrow's rank test, a slightly smaller problem. So now he is dragging Cheon out the door to go get ready for the evaluation. Outside, the campus is bathed in a sunset glow, painfully peaceful and normal. Students are everywhere, some training their powers, others just living their lives. A scene of total normalcy he has not witnessed in a solid decade. His casual comment about so many living people totally creeps Ma Long out for good reason. So the poor guy nervously suggests they just stick to the playground, maybe avoid the existential dread. But for Cheon, this is a heavy walk, remembering everyone he is about to lose again. And a flash of the ruined future reminds him that doing nothing means total annihilation. That is all the motivation he needs. It is time to power level and fast. Only problem is demon lairs are the only XP farms and they are all guild controlled, leaving him with insane base stats but no clue how they stack up against actual monsters. This world ranks Awakeners from S down to E, with most students being total scrubs. Looking at his own sheet, he wonders where a level 1 with max stats even lands. But a quick glance at Ma Long gives him a baseline. Yeah, he is definitely stronger than asterisk that guy. And just like that, a basketball introduces itself to Ma Long's face, who hits the deck hard, glasses completely shattered, because a welcoming committee of local jerks has just spotted them, and their leader mockingly comments on how fast they recovered. Sending Ma Long into a full-blown panic, they have run into him asterisk, but Cheon just stands there staring them down with zero fear, which only amuses the lead bully who calls them tough for his friends. Then he gets to the real point, a demand for tribute drinks, how original, and Ma Long immediately folds, promising to go buy them right now. But Cheon stops him cold, saying they are the ones who should be sorry, which just makes the bully laugh, repeating that they can sure take a beating. And a memory clicks for Si Chen, his eyes glowing. Oh, he remembers asterisk this guy. Flashing back to getting his head shoved into a toilet. While this same crew of losers held him down, and poor Ma Long could only watch from the floor begging them to stop. But the bully just grinned, claiming he was helping him, saying this little bit of torture might stimulate his powers to awaken Sure Jan, as his whole crew just cackled like a pack of hyenas. Before finally getting bored and leaving him passed out on the bathroom floor. And the memory fades, leaving Si Chen absolutely seething in the present. This memory leaves Si Chen wondering why they are always the ones getting hurt, because it turns out human cruelty is just as bad as any demons, and this guy's glowing eyes say he is more than ready for round 2, his demand for tribute drinks still hanging in the air, while Ma Long immediately tries to fold like a cheap suit. But Si Chen stops him, saying the apology is owed to them, which just leaves the bully completely dumbfounded. His friend is also having a meltdown, begging him to just shut up. So the bully Gong Cheng powers up his E-rank flower warrior fists. Si Chen remembers this guy's only tough because his big brother runs the student council. A crowd starts gathering, ready for the daily beatdown show, happily pointing out the school's 2 biggest losers are about to get wrecked. Gong Cheng closes in, ready to throw his weight around, grabbing Si Chen's shirt and demanding he repeat himself. Our boy just stares him down, telling him to get lost for good. Which is it for the bully's patience. He throws a punch, screaming about another beating, only for Si Chen to catch the fist like it is absolutely nothing, stopping the attack cold without even flinching. This entire crowd just short circuits, completely stunned by the block. Because everyone knows he is not even supposed to be awakened yet. Gong Cheng is absolutely losing it, calling him an unawakened weakling. But Si Chen just smirks, deciding this guy's the perfect guinea pig for his new class. And just like that, the job switch is complete. Electric Assassin online. Ma Long's brain absolutely short circuits, screaming about when he awakened, while our boy just stands there, crackling with power and looking way too cool. So Gong Cheng activates his big, scary, indestructible demon armor, real original name by the way, screaming that Si Chen must have forgotten the taste of his killer jab, but our boy just zips right under it like it is moving in slow motion, and counters with a lightning-fast jab right to the jaw, sending the bully absolutely flying across the playground. This entire crowd, Ma Long included, just completely loses their minds. And Gong Cheng, now eating dirt, accuses him of a sneak attack. Sure buddy. He screams at his goons to stop just standing there and jump in. But his so-called friends are just frozen in pure terror, because Si Chen is now radiating pure killer intent, knife included. Gong Cheng, however, decides to double down, screaming he will kill him, and gets his punch caught again just as easily. Si Chen twists his arm back, making the bully scream, telling him flat out that he is just too weak, before delivering a devastating lightning-charged punch right to the gut. This lightning punch sends Gong Cheng absolutely spiraling, smashing him right into the playground bleachers with a huge crash. He is left a bloody, broken mess against the wall, completely out cold. With the bully's crew scattering like rats, the whole crowd is just frozen in shock, and Ma Long is having a full-on system failure, asking when Si Chen got this strong. Si Chen himself is just staring at his hand, wondering the exact same thing. Looking at his stat sheet, he starts putting the pieces together, confirming he can still tap into his electric assassin class on command. This means even at level 1 he is already way above E-rank, though his true power is a mystery. But then a new, much bigger problem comes to mind. He just wiped the floor with this guy, so why have not his stats changed at all? As he walks toward the downed bully, lightning crackling in his hand, a dark idea forms, which sends Ma Long and the onlookers into a total panic, begging him to stop. Si Chen just grabs the bully by the face, ready to test a grim theory, wondering if gaining experience works the same way it did in the apocalyptic future. He prepares to deliver a finishing blow because XP does not farm itself, but a voice cuts in, reminding him this is a school, you know, with rules. It is Ling Yu, the student council VP, and she does not look impressed. She smugly tells the bully that Si Chen will not dare to hurt him again, and as our boy lets go, it is clear she is here to protect her little crony. Si Chen just scoffs at the student council's timely intervention, knowing that if guys like this are not put down hard, they never stop. And the terrified student body agrees, vowing to never mess with him again. So Ma Long just grabs his suddenly terrifying friend and makes a run for it, leaving the VP Ling Yu to watch them go with a very calculating smile. Later that night, back at the dorms, the vibe is slightly different, as Ma Long frantically tries to convince his roommates that Si Chen is a lightning god now, but the other two guys are treating his story like a bad fever dream, with one roommate, Xiang Zuo, lazily asking where this supposed powerhouse even is. While the other, Xiang Yu, shakes Ma Long, screaming that his story makes no sense, deciding poor Ma Long's brain must be completely scrambled from all the beatings. Xiang Zuo helpfully reminds everyone they are roomed together for being the absolute bottom of the barrel, then proudly declares himself the strongest of the losers, a truly high honor, before flexing and dismissing the idea of Si Chen being anything but a weakling. As his brother calmly states that tomorrow's rank test will clear everything up. Elsewhere at the E-rank training demon lair, the stakes are a little higher, where we meet the student council president himself, Gong Ting, who is just wrapping up a training session with his crew, only to find his little brother Gong Cheng waiting for him, looking like a mummy. And the little snake immediately demands revenge, framing the beatdown as an insult to his big bro. Gong Ting just listens to his brother's pathetic story, saying he understands, then promises to handle it, which sounds less like help and more like a threat. Meanwhile, at a ridiculously fancy dinner, a steak gets sliced with surgical precision, where he is dining with Ling Yu, who basically admits his brother just got owned. Gong Ting is having a hard time believing Si Chen is actually that strong. So Ling Yu lays out the school's pecking order. He has already recruited all the D rankers. She adds that without his resources, the average student has zero chance to improve. Her conclusion being that no one can match his pace as Si Chen trains hard in the rain. Our boy is out here doing a 20 km run with 100 kg on his back, because it turns out physical strength is the key to unlocking and awaken his true potential. But even this brutal training is not nearly enough for what he is planning, driven by the memory of the Demon King Wrath's arrival and the slaughter that followed. In that apocalyptic future, his own sister died right in front of him, and that one demon was the catalyst, opening the gates for the rest of hell to pour through. So now his primary mission in this new life is set in stone. He is going to take down Wrath before the apocalypse even begins. With only 3 years on the clock, he has to outpace the end of the world itself. But at that moment, his phone suddenly starts vibrating. This call is from a Si Yun, who is apparently calling him back. And Si Chen answers, looking completely caught off guard by who is on the line. It is his sister Si Yun on the line, wondering why he spammed her phone, and she is cheerfully rambling about prize money solving their rent problems, while Si Chen just stands there in the rain, completely overwhelmed, barely managing to tell her it is nothing as he starts to break down, because it has been an entire lifetime since he last heard her voice. She of course has no idea, promising to see him after her competition. And as the call ends, his purpose is set in stone. This is his second chance. Fueled by this, he pushes himself even harder, needing to get strong * now to protect it all. Back in the dorms, his loser roommates are completely knocked out for the night, and he hits the shower, taking stock of his new body, weaker but much younger. After that, it is time to tackle the most critical issue on his plate. Leveling up means hitting demon lairs, which are completely locked down by the guilds. This system means the rich get stronger and everyone else is stuck. Plus, he still has no idea what that mysterious power of gluttony actually is. Speak of the devil, a system interface suddenly starts booting up in his mind, and as the gluttony system finishes loading, he is pulled into a digital void. Our boy is just sent tumbling headfirst through this bizarre new space, before crashing down hard onto some kind of crimson floor, where he finds himself standing before a massive, gnarled tower straight out of a nightmare. Si Chen is just totally baffled, wondering how he went from his bed to this. Back in the dorms, one of his roommates meekly explains he went for a run, but Si Chen wakes up in a bizarre, crimson wasteland, totally confused. Before him stands that same nightmarish tower from his vision, and he is immediately greeted by a pack of E-rank skeletal hounds. Realizing he is in a demon lair, he instantly switches to his new class, making the lightning assassin officially back online. His class card pops up, confirming a massive speed boost from his lightning spirit, which is good because the entire pack is charging right at him. Our boy just becomes a blur of yellow light, tearing right through one of them, even snagging a loot drop for his trouble. Nice. He proceeds to absolutely dismantle the rest of the pack with ease, thinking that these E-rank mobs are a complete joke to him now. With every kill, experience points just flood his screen, leading to a satisfying level up. He can finally grind XP. His stat sheet confirms the boost, with every attribute getting a nice little bump. It finally clicks, he has his own private demon lair for solo raids. Of course, that is when the E-rank boss of the area decides to show up. As it blasts a beam of energy, Si Chen just grins, ready to test his new power. This boss gets absolutely shredded in a flurry of lightning strikes, netting him a huge XP bonus, and another level up complete with a victory screen and more loot. Easy peasy. His stat sheet confirms he has already hit level 3, but over the boss's corpse a weird new prompt appears, leaving Si Chen completely baffled by the message, which just repeats itself over the body, devourable. A wild idea takes shape as he reaches out, finally connecting the dots to his power of gluttony. A vortex of energy erupts, sucking the boss's essence right into him, which condenses into a glowing orb in his hand. This system confirms the absorption is complete, turning the monster into a card, and Si Chen realizes he can literally steal his enemy's classes. His mind is just absolutely blown by this revelation because this power, he has definitely seen it before. It belonged to a demon king in his past life, who used this exact same devouring ability to absorb his foes, and now Si Chen has stolen that very power for himself. This power of gluttony was the Demon King's signature move. Talk about grand larceny. See, the rules are simple: one person, one class, end of story. Yet now he is holding 2 class cards at the same time. This opens up a terrifying new possibility for him. If he can devour any monster, he can have infinite classes. Si Chen is still trying to wrap his head around the stolen power, when he finds himself standing before a demonic tower straight out of hell, and a crushing pressure just slams him down to his knees. This insane power level is coming from the top of the stairs, where some shadowy edgelord announces he has been waiting for him. This new guy even knows his name, which is never a good sign, and as the system helpfully explains the ranking system, the dread sinks in, because he is immediately blasted backwards by the boss's aura alone. In his past life, he nearly died to reach S rank, but right now he is barely a D, which is a huge problem since this boss is a top-tier S rank monster. Our boy is justifiably confused why his private training area has a final boss, and more importantly, how this thing knows his actual name. They have already been fighting, but the boss is clearly holding back, just casually swatting him around the arena like a fly. With every single strike carefully avoiding his vitals, it is just toying with him. This boss mockingly asks if he is still struggling. Real charming dude. Wiping the blood from his mouth, Cheon realizes this is not a fight to the death. It is a job interview with the boss offering him a co-guardian gig. Cheon's answer is a hard pass on spending eternity in this hellhole, so the boss immediately reconsiders its non-lethal approach. This boss's gentle persuasion lands, splattering blood everywhere, and this edgelord clarifies he has only been patient because Cheon is a special guest. He then summons a bunch of skeletal minions from the floor just to set the mood, powering up to offer one last chance to reconsider the job offer, which is basically join me or become a red smear on the floor. Crackling with lightning, Cheon makes his choice with a death glare. And that choice is to try and kill the S-rank final boss. Great plan. This boss finds this absolutely hilarious while dropping a mountain on him, but our boy just zips right past the attack like a bolt of lightning, closing the distance before the boss can even properly swing. Turns out he has been analyzing his opponent's every move this whole time, pinpointing a 0.4-second wind-up on every single attack. Using that tiny window, he can predict and dodge the blade's path. And he has also found a 0.2-second recovery lag after each strike. That is his opening, the moment the boss is completely defenseless. So he goes for the heart with a full-power lightning blade. This hit lands, paralyzing the S-rank monster for a few precious seconds. But the boss was still too fast, forcing Cheon to pop his lightning god speed boost. His new plan is not to fight, it is to use that paralysis to escape. And he has already spotted the only way out of this hellscape. He lunges for the shimmering exit he spotted, only for the light source to completely vanish. This boss reveals it was an illusion and this is not a demon lair at all, but he is genuinely impressed Cheon found his attack pattern so fast, calling him the one who can bring hope, which is a bit much. Cheon's eyes go wide because he has seen this exact form before. It throws him back to the final battle of his past life, fighting the demon king Lanyu and his endless transformations. In that fight, the king switched between high-rank classes like they were outfits, from a fire-breathing beast to an ice dragon, then a toxic forest monster. The guy had no chill, he even pulled out a holy-type class just to be extra. And lying on the ground, Cheon remembers one form in particular, a terrifying purple-armored demon, which is the exact same look this boss is rocking right now. This horrible truth clicks, this boss was devoured by the demon king. And this entire tower is actually a mental space asterisk inside Cheon. Rakshasa grins, saying he has proven himself worthy of everything here, leaving our boy completely stunned by the offer. This boss then hands over an SSS rank key of the void, his new tower key. This tower, Rakshasa explains, is a prison for Lanyu's strongest victims, and the mission is simple: devour everything inside to get stronger. Our boy, still bleeding, asks why this S-rank monster is suddenly helping him. And it turns out Rakshasa has a serious grudge. The Demon Kings wiped out his entire race. For ages, he has been waiting for revenge, and Cheon is his designated hope, which leaves Cheon a little lost, asking who this mysterious that guy is. All the answers he is told are conveniently waiting inside the tower for him to find. Rakshasa then offers up his own power, literally disintegrating to make it happen, leaving Cheon justifiably stunned by the take my power offer. This final command is to go full monster mode and devour everyone inside. But he adds a little warning: the next demons will not be so accommodating. Cheon's new to-do list: endure, conquer, and stand at the top of the world, because the ultimate endgame is to devour every last one of the demon kings. As his form dissolves, he begins a final dramatic speech, saying only a man with a certain kind of resolve is worthy of his power, and with that he is just gone. A literal loading bar appears as the S-rank power transfers into him, followed by a satisfying devouring level up from the system. And just like that, he is level 10, complete with a victory pose and new swords. With a look of pure resolve, Cheon accepts his new mission. With Rakshasa's power now a card in his hand, Cheon vows to make them all pay. And just like that, the demonic tower completely fades away, jolting him awake to the sound of someone shouting in the morning light. He sits up, finding himself back in a familiar bunk bed. While his roommates rush around, reminding him about school uniforms, he is back in the dorm. All his brutal injuries are completely gone, making him wonder if it was all just a fever dream. But his system window proves the loot and the level up were very, very real. He jumped to level 10 in a single night, a truly subtle power-up. That is when his roommate, a guy with a truly punchable face, gets his attention, who starts mocking him for talking big about becoming a powerhouse last night. Another guy with glasses just sweats in the background, wanting no part of this drama, as the bully accuses Cheon of trying to steal his title as top dog in the dorm. Cheon's dead-eyed stare is all the answer he needs for the upcoming rank test. Later, the bully is already posturing outside, chowing down on a bun, lecturing his cronies on how he is a mid-E rank, which is apparently a big deal. He claims the gap between tiers is so huge he could take on 10 low ranks at once. Sure, buddy. This whole crew heads off to the test, with the bully still hyping himself up. And while his friend suggests aiming for D rank, Cheon is thinking way bigger, as the bully struts ahead, clearly trying to look cool for someone, turning with a confident yo that makes his nerdy friend cringe. This whole school is out for the official rank test ceremony. And inside, some local thugs are already throwing their weight around. a crew that everyone knows to avoid Gong Cheng's lackeys. They suddenly lock eyes with Si Chen's group and the whole vibe shifts. Si Chen, for his part, looks like he'd rather be literally anywhere else. This tough guys immediately break out in a cold sweat, recognizing him, then rush over to Bo, calling him Big Brother Si Chen with full respect. This leaves the dorm bully completely stunned, wondering if he misjudged the new guy. While our boy just walks past the bowing goons without a second glance, a new voice calls him out and Si Chen's eyes flash red with irritation. This smarmy-looking dude is Jiang Jian, a student council officer, and he is here because Si Chen apparently tangled with the president's little brother. This onlookers immediately recognize him as one of the school's top dogs. And Ma Long freaks out. This guy is a D-rank powerhouse. Jiang Jian gets uncomfortably close, claiming he can smell true strength, but says all he gets from Si Chen is the stench of a lifelong loser. He keeps sniffing, really committing to this whole weird power-smelling bit, just hammering home how much of a bottom feeder he thinks Si Chen is. Si Chen's deadpan reply is just perfect. Are you a dog or something? And just like that, the smug attitude shatters into pure, unfiltered rage. Suddenly, a new voice cuts in, telling Jiang Jian to back the hell off. And this is the student council president, who has already decided his brother was the problem, calmly stating that people who do wrong should pay the price, which shuts Jiang Jian right up. This president gives Si Chen one last, calculating look, while our boy just stares back, red eyes glowing, completely unimpressed. An announcement cuts through the tension. The grade test ceremony is starting now. As they walk away, the president dismisses Si Chen as no real threat, which feels like a huge mistake. And from a window high above, someone else is watching the students gather. A man asks his companion if she is watching because she found someone interesting. And the woman just smirks, thinking this test might finally be worth her time. Down on the field, the first student, Xiang Zhu, gets called to the stage, who is all fired up to show everyone his true strength. Good luck with that, buddy. He steps through the glowing blue portal for his individual assessment, finding himself inside a dark, wired-up chamber. This whole setup is a training lair with a demon heart that absorbs energy, and the test is simple: blast the core with everything you have got. His full power attack slams right into the heart center, which absorbs the energy, its central eye glowing as it processes the data. All that power gets funneled into an external machine for the final reading. And his grand total is a mid-tier E rank, setting a very average bar for the day. This officials confirm the first guy's score a perfectly average E rank, while Si Chen's nerdy friend is losing his mind, calling this the main event, because the machine also measures potential, their highest possible future rank, and this poor dude's potential is a resounding C. Oof. Xiang Zhu is absolutely crushed, realizing he has not improved in 2 whole years. His friends try to console him by pointing out that they are even weaker, which is just peak friendship. A whole montage of E ranks follows, with everyone feeling pretty hopeless about their chances, until a D rank with B potential suddenly flashes on screen, making the crowd go nuts, revealing a girl inside the chamber striking a victory pose, our first D grade of the year. Some time later, another D rank struts out, this one rocking a potential and a smug walk. Ma Long just facepalms in despair, counting 8 D grades already, and the proctors are thrilled, noting this year's class is unusually stacked with talent. This announcer calls up the next tester, and a pair of very fancy shoes steps forward, belonging to none other than Gong Ting, the president's little brother. This crowd goes wild for the chosen one, who apparently has a dozen different titles, but Si Chen just watches from the back, completely unimpressed by the hype. Everyone's buzzing. He was already D rank 2 years ago, so they are expecting a new record. And inside the chamber, he faces the creepy, wired-up demon heart, its single, massive eye slowly opening to gauge his power. As Gong Ting prepares to unleash his full strength on the machine, Gong Ting decides to hold back just enough power to make a scene, because even then, he is sure he will be #1 in school history, so humble. His energy floods the machine, the readouts for grade and potential starting to form, and one of the proctors does a double take, shocked by the color of the potential reading. This final result drops, a high-tier D grade with a massive glowing S for potential. This reveal sends the entire crowd into a complete meltdown in S-rank potential. His fanboys are losing their minds, screaming praises for the president's little brother. And while everyone else is witnessing history, Si Chen looks like he is waiting for a bus. This proctors confirm the reading is legit and decide to call their superiors immediately, because an S-rank potential is a national treasure, especially one from the Imperial Guild. Gong Ting just soaks it all in with a smug smile, his victory official. Meanwhile, the 2 observers from the high-rise window comment on this year's talent. And the principal, Yuan Long, figures his companion knew about Gong Ting all along, but the woman coolly denies it, saying she did not come just for him. With a sly look, she admits she is more interested in someone else, her gaze landing squarely on Si Chen in the crowd below. Right on cue, the announcer calls the next name, Si Chen. Some loudmouth from his dorm gets in his face, telling him not to bring shame to their room. Then starts laughing about how they will be a joke if he gets another low E rank, since his other roommates are already confirmed bottom-tier weaklings. But his nerdy roommate screams his support, promising Si Chen will shock them all. And on the big screen, our boy's name is up as he steps into the portal. Even the student council president watches with sudden interest. While inside the dark chamber, Si Chen stares down at the wired-up demon heart. Its massive, creepy eye snaps open, ready to gauge his power. Because in this world, a top guild is the only future worth having, and the upcoming combat assessment is the only way to get scouted. Students form 10-person squads, picking their own teammates for the fight, with the winning team getting a golden ticket straight into the Imperial Guild. So this test is really just a high-stakes recruitment drive, and the President's crew has already scooped up all 9D ranks for their squad. His cronies are already convinced he is a shoo-in for MVP, which means the weak get left behind, a classic high school experience. Back in the present, Chen's friend is sweating, wondering what is taking so long, as the scoreboard remains completely empty, showing no reading at all. His dorm's bully starts laughing, assuming the machine cannot even register his pathetic power. Even the President's lackey wants to bounce, calling the remaining testers trash. And with a bored sigh, the President agrees to leave, totally writing Chen off. But just as they turn, the rank display finally starts to flicker to life, and a massive high D rank flashes on screen, stunning everyone into silence. This entire field is just frozen in shock, their jaws on the floor, while his nerdy roommate is absolutely losing it, screaming, "I knew it." Even the student council president is floored, his lackey totally bugging out. But the system flags an error, saying the demon heart is unstable and needs a retest. And inside, Chen reveals that was just his base form, no class, no skills. He decides to get serious, initiating his first class switch, becoming the Infernal Death King to test out his weakest devolved form. Outside, the scoreboard glitches again, the D rank starting to morph, and it jumps straight to a mid-C rank, which sends his friends into another screaming fit, completely baffled. This President's crew is now convinced the machine is broken, calling it total BS, as the proctors get the same system instability warning. Meanwhile, the demon heart itself is sweating bullets, looking absolutely terrified, so Chen figures if that was his weakest, it is time to try another class. He switches again, this time to the Rakshasa blade form, and the poor machine's eye just goes wide with pure, unadulterated terror. Suddenly, a massive vortex of purple energy erupts into the sky, a swirling storm that darkens the entire field, leaving the President and his goons staring up, wondering what the hell is happening. His roommates finally get it, their dorm just birthed a literal god-tier monster. Outside, the scoreboard is still glitching wildly, trying to process his power. And then his potential rank finally locks in a massive golden S. This sends the proctors into a screaming fit, absolutely floored by a *2 *S rank. Even the student council president is completely stunned by the result. But the machine is not finished, flashing a huge warning sign, which immediately escalates to a full-blown system error. Because his potential is not just S rank, it has literally broken the scale. Chen's dorm bully is having a complete snot-flying meltdown over this, and then the entire testing apparatus just straight up explodes. This proctors are in total panic mode, yelling that the demon heart is overloading. So they rush into the smoking chamber to check on the student, only to find a scene that leaves them utterly speechless. This demon heart, the core of the entire system, is just a dead, shriveled husk. They wonder if it just burned out from overuse, while Chen casually strolls by the mess. He internally admits he accidentally choked it to death, but hey, he got a little surprise. Turns out his gluttony skill let him devour the machine's core, granting him a new perception ability. As he calmly walks out of the ruined testing chamber, his new demon heart power activates, his eyes glowing a bright teal. Now he can see everyone's true rank floating above their heads, which is pretty convenient. With his new power scanner vision, the entire game has just changed. Chen's new eyes reveal Gong Ting's true rank, a measly mid-C rank. This proctor's announced testing is cancelled because the machine suffered a sudden death, which is totally believable. They will report Chen's data as a simple error and tell everyone to come back tomorrow for a new device. His roommates are already treating him like a god, while Chen just wants to go home. But of course, the President's crew immediately calls BS, insisting it was just a machine glitch. This one goon throws a fit, blaming Chen for breaking the machine and wasting their precious time. A little bit of power starts crackling in Chen's hand. He is clearly getting annoyed. His eyes glow as he seriously considers just crippling the loudmouth right here and now. Suddenly, Gong Ting steps in, telling his goon to back off and respect their new teammate. This lackey is completely floored by this teammate. With a grand gesture, Gong Ting formally invites Chen to join his squad for the assessment. Chen just stares back, completely unmoved by the honor of the offer. His friends are losing their minds. The President personally invited him to the team. This crony starts sweating, realizing if Chen joins, someone gets kicked off the guaranteed-to-win team. He is furious, wondering what gives this nobody the right when others bribe their way in. But since the boss gave the order, he has to swallow his pride and play nice, putting on the fakest, most disgusting smile to welcome Chen to the team. Chen just slaps his hand away, flatly saying, "Not interested." This crony is just left there, hand out, completely and utterly humiliated. And Gong Ting's friendly mask drops, revealing a much colder look. He is not used to being rejected. Gong Ting's goon is absolutely losing it, screaming about how their team is #1. But with a flash of red in his eyes, Chen just tells him to get lost. As our boy walks off, the crony is left literally breathing fire. He is so mad. This entire crowd is just floored. Who the hell rejects the student council president? Some students start whispering that Chen must be planning to take first place all by himself. Meanwhile, his roommates are absolutely dying laughing at the humiliated elites. Gong Ting, ever the actor, just calmly says it seems Chen has his own ideas. A quiet moment passes as the students finally start to clear the field. Up in the tower, the principal is bummed they will not team up to set a new school record. But the mysterious woman with him finds this whole thing way more interesting. She points out that for a golden boy like Gong, a public rejection is a declaration of war. Even his own lackey knows their president is not someone you want to mess with. This crony is still ranting, convinced Si Chen's rank was just a lucky glitch. Gong, however, is not taking any chances. He cannot let anyone threaten his top spot, so his goon offers to teach Si Chen a lesson, for the good of the team. Gong immediately shuts him down, asking if he looks that petty. Then tells his crony to handle team arrangements himself and walks off. With a dark glare, he adds that whatever the crony does has nothing to do with him, leaving the lackey looking confused for about half a second. Before a nasty grin spreads across his face, message received. 10 minutes later, Gong Ting's crony is getting a hot tip on Si Chen's location, and his little snitch confirms our boy just left school to head home. This goon crushes a can, thinking the universe just handed him a golden opportunity, and with a truly disgusting grin, he decides to intercept Si Chen off campus, where it'll be much easier to deal with him ruthlessly. Meanwhile, Si Chen is just calmly walking down the street, minding his own business. Turns out he's got bigger fish to fry, flashing back to a tragedy in his past life, where a top-tier guild got absolutely wrecked by a demon lord called Wrath. This entire team was annihilated by some tentacled horror, and that is all he knows. So in this life, his whole plan is to find that demon's lair and finish the job. But first things first, he needs a whole lot of cash. He heads to the Mithril Monster Exchange, a place he knows will be huge in the future, since it is the best place to sell gear and his fastest ticket to getting rich. So he walks up to the counter and just drops a handful of monster fangs. This clerk, a real snob, is immediately suspicious of a student having monster parts. Si Chen just says a monster dropped them, but the guy's never seen them before. Luckily, his pink-haired assistant recognizes them as fangs from an E-grade beast, but before she can even explain their use, the head clerk dismisses the low-grade item. He puffs out his chest, saying he only deals with high-status clients and D-grade loot. What a professional. Then he internally whines about not getting enough high-end customers to score a promotion. This snobby clerk internally whines about this troublesome kid and decides to dump him on the newbie, so he pawns the job off on his pink-haired assistant and makes a grand exit. She politely hands over a bag with the money for the monster fangs, and Si Chen sees it is just enough to cover his rent for now. With the small stuff out of the way, he decides to pull out the real prize, materializing a massive demonic greatsword right there in the shop. This assistant is completely blown away by how unbelievably cool it looks, guessing it has to be at least a B grade, maybe even an A-grade weapon. Of course, the head clerk immediately scoffs, saying A-grade items are worth $1 million and he has never seen one. Just then, a well-dressed man enters, calmly stating it is neither B nor a grade. This clerk immediately starts sucking up to the boss, agreeing that a poor student could not possibly have good stuff. But the boss, a man named Qingzhai, identifies it as S-grade equipment from the Purgatory lands. This sends the clerk and his assistant into a full-blown jaw-on-the-floor meltdown. Suddenly, Qingzhai is all smiles, grabbing Si Chen's hand and welcoming him like a king, personally escorting him to the VIP room for the 5-star treatment. Si Chen just smirks, thinking the person he was waiting for has finally shown up. This Qingzhai guy is clearly the one who actually runs this place. In the lavish VIP room, he asks Si Chen how he'd like to handle the S-grade sword, and our boy, cool as ever, just says $1 million. Qingzhai is completely stunned. For an S-grade weapon, that is an absolute steal. Qingzhai explains that an S-grade weapon is worth tens of millions, maybe even priceless. But Si Chen just wants to use it as collateral for a $1 million loan paid back in a month. This completely throws Qingzhai. Using a priceless artifact for a short-term loan is insane. While our boy just sips his drink, Qingzhai's mind races, realizing this kid is no simpleton. Si Chen even offers to pay back the principal plus 10% interest just to sweeten the deal. So Qingzhai tells his pink-haired assistant to step outside. It is time for a private chat. Now that they are alone, the real negotiation begins. He has already deduced that Si Chen is a senior at the National Awakening University, and he connects the dots. The school's assessment is in a month with a prize of exactly $1 million. With a sly look, he ventures his big guess that Si Chen is already completely confident he is going to take first place. This logic is simple. He is desperate for cash right now and has no other options. Seeing his opening, Qingzhai prepares his much better offer. He will give him $1.5 million in cash right now with 0% interest. He extends a hand, calling it a gesture of friendship, which is totally believable. Our boy just stares for a second, processing this new development. This guy promises confidentiality and future VIP treatment. He is clearly playing the long game. Si Chen is impressed. This is exactly the kind of move that will make this place #1 in the future. As they shake on it, Si Chen remembers he cannot take down the Demon Lord Wrath by himself. To do that, he needs reliable partners, and this is the very first step. This mana contract glows as Si Chen seals the deal. And just like that, $1.5 million hits his account. Business is good. Qingzhai, ever the salesman, asks what he will use for the assessment now that his best sword is gone, offering to lend him some high-quality or B-rank gear, out of pure generosity. But Si Chen just casually summons another demonic sword because of course he has a spare. This sends the entire staff into a collective jaw-on-the-floor meltdown, and now Qingzhai is practically bowing as he escorts his new favorite young hero out the door. He even promotes the pink-haired assistant on the spot while the original snob just seethes in the background. With business handled, Si Chen looks out the window, a new thought on his mind. He remembers there is something important he needs to buy, so our boy hops in a cab heading off to his next destination. He arrives at a long-distance bus station, clearly waiting for someone. This triggers a flashback to his past life where he was broke and powerless, working himself to the bone at odd jobs just to survive. He and his sister Si-Yun were barely scraping by, with her even taking on jobs to help. Turns out she'd gotten into a prestigious art academy, a huge opportunity. But she tore up the acceptance letter, claiming the school was too far away, sacrificing her own dream just so she would not be a burden on him. Back in the present, Si Chen waits anxiously, knowing his sister should be arriving any minute now. A familiar voice calls out bro, and he turns around. But it is his sister, Si-Yun, immediately scolding him for waiting in the wrong spot. And she teases him about being overworked, looking totally unfazed by her trip. For Si Chen, though, it has been 7 long years since he has seen her alive. She just asks if he is going to help with her luggage, completely oblivious, then waves a hand in his face, calling him an idiot for just standing there, which is fair. Without a word, our boy just pulls her into a massive hug, leaving his sister completely caught off guard by the sudden affection, while Si Chen is just overwhelmed with relief to finally see Si-Yun again. She is still processing this very out-of-character moment from her brother, until she decides he is trying to strangle her and starts fighting back, sibling love at its finest. After that, she immediately assumes he got rejected by a girl to be acting this weird, and as they walk home, everything seems perfectly normal and happy. Si Chen, however, is thinking about how this life will be different, making a silent promise that he will never let her suffer again. Meanwhile, in a dark alley, some familiar goons are waiting for him. Gong Ting's crony has gathered a whole crew to ambush Si Chen on his way home. This guy is absolutely determined to make our boy pay for his disrespect. One of his lackeys worries they might accidentally kill him with this many people, but the crony is too busy ranting about how a low ranker dared to defy him. A cold voice cuts through the noise, telling them to shut up and get lost. Si Chen has arrived. This crony's orders are simple: cripple Si Chen so he cannot take the graduation assessment, and to get it done they have hired a D-rank assassin who looks completely unhinged. Meanwhile, Si Chen and his sister are just walking home, totally unaware. Si-Yun immediately calls him out for acting strange, blaming it on exam pressure, and she roasts him for being too much of a blockhead to have girl problems. She then gives him a genuinely sweet pep talk, telling him to pull it together, before breaking into a hilariously cheesy motivational song to cheer him up. Si Chen is just touched that she is so perceptive, knowing she has no idea he is awakened. He tries to reassure her, but she just thinks he is putting on a brave face, a classic case of manly pride. She even quotes some book about men building walls, deciding her brother's just getting old. But as they walk, they are being watched from a dark alleyway, where one of the goons points out that their target has a girl with him. This lead crony just gets a psychotic glint in his eye, thinking this is perfect since there are no cameras. At that moment, Si Chen's eyes flash, he senses their hostile aura. He looks down the alley and immediately recognizes the student council's thugs. This crony is shocked they actually walked right into the ambush, but Si Chen just calmly pulls out a pair of wireless earbuds. He gently places them in his sister's ears, about to shield her from the violence, telling her to listen to a song he likes, which just leaves her confused. As she closes her eyes to enjoy the music, she is completely oblivious to the storm that is about to hit. With his sister safe, Si Chen's expression turns to ice, his eyes glowing as he faces the alleyway ambush, which is just a sad-looking crew of E-rank thugs, while Si-Yun is completely lost in the music, totally unaware. And the goons charge forward, ready to get absolutely demolished. But for Si Chen, this is deeply personal. He already lost her once, and after 7 long years, he is not letting anyone ruin this moment. So he unleashes his full power as they rush in to meet their doom, instantly dropping the first guy with a single, brutal punch to the face, sending him flying past his completely shocked buddy, all while his sister just vibes, enjoying her little concert for one. As our boy continues his one-man wrecking crew performance, leaving another thug screaming in pure agony, then he just wades through the rest of them like they are made of paper, kicking another one into orbit like a discount shooting star, until the lead crony finally throws a desperate punch, which Si Chen catches without even breaking a sweat, before snapping the guy's arm with a sickening crunch, and the crony can only shriek as his bones give way. Right before a final punch sends him straight to dreamland. As his sister's sweet song plays, Si Chen absolutely demolishes the thugs, and one of the goons has a complete mental breakdown. This was not in the job description. Our boy is just radiating pure, unadulterated power, continuing the beatdown while the so-called assassin just watches from the back. Another goon's face meets Si Chen's fist with entirely predictable results. And with the small fry handled, he finally turns to the main event, the D-rank assassin. This guy starts sweating, claiming he is a top-tier assassin. Sure you are, buddy. He then screams about how he cannot possibly lose to a kid like this, but Si Chen just effortlessly dodges the knife and prepares the counterpunch. That single punch sends the top-tier assassin flying into next week, launching the guy so hard he is practically airborne. And you can see the exact moment his confidence leaves his body. A final blow sends the assassin officially out of the picture, smashing him into a wall and leaving a nice little crater as a souvenir. Si Chen's silhouette looms over the alley, his eyes glowing a menacing red. Standing over the wreckage, he calmly says he told them not to bother him, then asks if they do not understand human speech, which is a fair question. This warning is repeated, this time with the assassin's own knife in hand, his eyes just burning with cold fury, waiting for an answer. All the lead crony can do is whimper for forgiveness, realizing they messed with a monster. Cheon holds the crony at knife point, giving him a very simple ultimatum: shut up or die, and the guy immediately realizes this kid is not bluffing for a second, wondering what kind of life a student lived to have this much killing intent. While Cheon tells him to burn his next words into his brain, laying down the new house rules: never bother him and especially never go near his sister, because if they do, he will hunt them down one by one, promising to erase them from existence without a moment's hesitation. And judging by the waterworks, the message has been received. With his point made, our boy just drops the knife and walks away from the human debris. As Si-Yun gets all emotional over the song, wondering why it makes her want to cry, feeling like her brother must have gone through something awful, and she reminds herself that he is not alone because she is always with him, right before yanking out the earbud and calling him an annoying sap for playing this card. But Si-Chen just turns back to her, holding out a small gift box, presenting her with a very fancy-looking pen with a smile, which makes her jaw drop. It is a brand new Mana holographic drawing pen, so she immediately asks where he got 10 grand, but he is just enjoying the moment. And as she worries about the cost, Si-Chen is lost in his past life regrets, clenching his bloodied fist as he makes a silent, unbreakable vow. While the trash calls for an ambulance, he promises to protect everything about her this time. This new pen lets Si-Yun literally draw with pure mana. And she is absolutely giddy, creating holographic fish out of thin air. Si-Chen is just happy she likes it, enjoying the noodles she cooked for him. But his sister immediately starts nagging him about spending money when they have rent to pay. He just casually drops that he has already paid the rent for the entire year, then tries to sell a hilariously bad lie about a business partnership. Si-Yun is not fooled for a single second, calling him out internally for being so suspicious. Still, she notices something has truly changed, seeing a genuine, happy smile on his face for the first time in ages. So she puts a comforting hand on his shoulder, telling her brother not to push himself too hard no matter what is going on. Our boy just gives a quiet, knowing smile in return. Meanwhile, we get a status update on Gong Ting's crony. He is basically a bag of broken bones. Standing before a giant aquarium, Gong Ting learns his goon will not recover for at least a month. And he is just annoyed his lackey got so thoroughly demolished by Si-Chen. A woman notes the crony will now miss the graduation assessment. But Gong Ting could not care less, calling the guy a useless burden. So much for loyalty. He is reporting all this to an older, more imposing man, who turns out to be Gong Cheon, a university director and probably his dad. This director then mentions he has checked the results of a recent rank test. Director Gong confirms Si-Chen is C-rank, the only kid in school stronger than his son, and Gong Ting is absolutely fuming about it. Apparently some big shot is coming to watch the assessment, so no screw-ups allowed. He even offers to pull some strings and get his niece on the team, while from the couch the niece looks up with a very confident smirk. But Gong Ting just tells his uncle he is worrying way too much, then drops the classic "I was not even using my full power" line. Sure, Jan. He promises to show everyone who is really the strongest on assessment day. And the shark metaphor is just a little asterisk on the nose, you gotta admit. Meanwhile, Si-Chen is just wrapping up a casual 100 km weighted training session, feeling good now that his money problems are handled and his plans can start. First on the list is winning that 1 million scholarship to pay off his loan, since he knows he has gotta honor that contract with Qingjai for future help. Less than a month to go, he decides it is time to grind a few more levels. So he closes his eyes, about to dive in, and just like that, the gluttony system boots up. This drops him into a desolate wasteland in front of a massive, ominous tower. Our boy just calmly walks up the steps, heading right for the entrance, where a status window reveals his weakest class is already a solid mid-C rank, but his strongest class completely breaks the scanner. Its rank is literally undetectable. He knows his S-rank class is still locked, with 2 others remaining a total mystery. Then the system drops an SSS rank key of the void right into his hand, which fits perfectly into the tower's massive gate, unlocking a whole new world of pain. Standing before a swirling purple vortex, Si-Chen is ready to see what is inside, and gets immediately sucked into the portal, tumbling through pure cosmic energy, finding himself somewhere unexpected, to say the least. Welcome to the Fallen Star Wastes, a lovely vacation spot on a dead rock. Suddenly, an immense pressure slams down on him out of nowhere, forcing him to his knees as his body screams in protest. Turns out the gravity here is about 10 times normal, the universe's way of saying, slow down, buddy. With the exit gone, he realizes he is stuck here until he beats the boss, all while at 30% power. Just then, a giant celestial paw stomps down, announcing the welcoming committee. And it is a B-rank phantom lion, which is basically an extremely angry space cat. Realizing his brawler class will not work, a system window pops up for a quick class change, switching him over to a level 10 lightning assassin to counter the beast. This lion immediately pounces, ready to turn him into a chew toy, but Si-Chen zips out of the way with a flash of lightning, dodging the attack. Even with the speed boost, the gravity is still weighing him down like crazy. And his desperate stab at the lion's throat completely fails, a big fat miss. Our boy is just stunned, realizing this training ground is no joke. This assassin class is totally useless in this gravity, throwing his whole game off, and this space cat is just loving the heavy G's, moving like it is nothing. As the lion powers up, Chen realizes this is its true Purgatory Tower strength, so he decides to fight fire with fire, switching to his Purgatory Rakshasa class. This new class literally weaponizes gravity, talk about a home field advantage, and with the warrior build active, he goes straight for a face-to-face brawl, stacking the gravity to the absolute max and pile-driving the beast into the ground, all while powering up his fist to an absolutely insane degree, because in this environment, his punch gets a 60 times damage multiplier. This lion's face shows the exact moment it realized it messed up, as a massive energy beam erupts from the impact, completely overwhelming it, and he unleashes his ultimate move, the Super Heavy Gravity Calamity, but that one punch took absolutely everything out of him, leaving him exhausted in the middle of a brand new crater with 12,000 exp as a prize. He hits level 11 looking absolutely shredded but totally drained. While the system explains his class cards, more stars equals more power. But even with his stronger class, he barely scraped by against a B-rank monster. Realizing his current builds are all capped, none have broken the B-rank barrier yet. Then, as he is thinking, he notices something is seriously wrong. His gluttony system did not give him the option to devour the monster's soul. He is exhausted, but the gate to the next floor is already opening. A sudden, horrifying realization hits him, because a giant black hole just ripped open in the sky above. And it is filled with a whole lot of angry, glowing eyes. Chen realizes the real boss has not even made an appearance, meaning that B-rank Lion was just a tutorial mob, and here comes the whole family. Another space cat immediately pounces on our already drained hero, who gets absolutely torn to shreds by its cosmic claws. This is what the system meant by endless pain, a welcome party from hell. This only rule here is to endure absolutely everything, and conquer it all no matter how much it hurts. Then Chen wakes up with a gasp, drenched in sweat. It was all just a hyper-realistic training nightmare in his dorm room, but the pain from that dream felt terrifyingly real down to the bone. He knows this is his path now, a lonely road with no shortcuts to power. Cut to the university auditorium for the graduation assessment ceremony. Good old director Gong is there, looking as slimy as ever. The students are all buzzing about some big shots from the Guild Alliance coming to watch, which explains why the rules for this year's assessment suddenly changed. As Chen learns, every team now needs 5 members, with one being E-rank or higher. Director Gong takes the stage, musing about making the assessment more entertaining, then announces all student ranks have been sent directly to their wristbands. This entire auditorium immediately lights up with holographic stat sheets, revealing a list where Gong Ting is at the top, a high-tier D rank. But one student immediately notices something is seriously wrong on his screen, because way down at the bottom, Chen is listed as a low E rank. His classmates are completely baffled, demanding to know how he is so weak, and the whispers start since everyone remembers he tested as a C rank. Gong Ting's cronies are just relieved, thinking the guy's a total fraud after all. Chen just stares at the screen, knowing this means no one will team up with him. This rest of the students are already mocking him for rejecting Gong Ting's offer earlier, and Gong Ting himself just watches with a cold, calculating stare, while his uncle, Director Gong, observes the whole scene from his seat. This director internally calls his nephew a disappointment for not knowing how to truly use power, deciding it is time for Uncle Dearest to teach him a lesson in manipulation. As the call to form teams goes out, the students start scrambling, and they all immediately swarm Gong Ting, begging to be on his team. It gets pretty desperate, with one kid literally offering to be his dog. His current teammates try to hold back the mob, yelling they only have one spot left. 30 minutes later, a new 5-person team is officially formed. While other students celebrate forming teams, Chen's group is left in the corner. And his friend confirms their worst fears: nobody wants to join them. With only 4 members, they are panicking about even being able to participate, because one of them just cannot believe Chen is ranked the lowest in school. Chen suspects the new rules are a deliberate move to screw over their dorm, knowing this assessment is their only shot at a decent future. A handy infographic explains more teammates just means more monsters, no easy rides here. So naturally, everyone's avoiding the low rankers like the absolute plague. And what do you know, the 3 lowest E ranks are all in their dorm. Just then, one of their dorm mates gets an unexpected offer. Another team tries to poach him, calling his friends E rank trash. This reality of the situation sinks in. They are about to be abandoned and disqualified. Their whole group is on the verge of losing their chance to even compete. But the guy just says a simple sorry, then turns them down flat, refusing to abandon his roommates. This other team just scoffs, basically calling him an idiot for his loyalty. Meanwhile, the team registration list is filling up at an alarming rate, and panic sets in for his friend, who sees they are running out of options. Our boy just stands there silently, his expression completely unreadable. Cut to the director of employment, another Gong family member, watching the whole show. This director's inner monologue confirms he rigged the whole system just to screw with Chen. But our boy is not taking this lying down, initiating a class switch on the spot. And with the change complete, he decides if they will not play fair, neither will he. Meanwhile, the director smugly tells his colleague there are other ways to prove strength, which has Chen's friend absolutely losing his mind in the background. Turns out the school has a tradition for 1v1 challenges, and Chen is about to use it. because this blatant provocation is the only way to show everyone his real power. This entire auditorium knows exactly who he is calling out and that he will not refuse, with Gong Ting just smirking, seeing this as the perfect chance to crush him publicly. Si Chen's plan is simple: win this duel and a fifth member will come begging to join. Just then, a voice from the doorway asks if his team is still looking for people. A mysterious blonde woman announces she wants in on the graduation assessment, and she is a D rank, offering to be their fifth member. Problem solved, right? His dorm mates are completely floored, wondering how in the world he pulled this off. Even Gong Ting's crew is freaking out over this completely unexpected twist, while Director Gong is so mad he is literally crushing his thermos in a silent rage. She just strolls on by, totally unbothered by the chaos she just created. This gossip mill immediately kicks in. She is a genius exchange student from a powerful kingdom, but another Gong family member, the Director of Employment, stands up to shut it down, claiming that as an unranked transfer student, her participation is against the rules. And just when things could not get weirder, the principal teleports in, siding with the Gongs, which has the Director of Employment absolutely losing his mind. The big boss is here. This principal immediately calls out the blonde girl Ling Yu for meddling in school affairs. Si Chen's mind is racing because a warrior class should not be able to teleport. This old man preaches about fairness, but Ling Yu just smirks like she knows something he does not. With his perception skill active, Si Chen takes a closer look, only to find both of their power levels are completely unreadable. They are absolute monsters. Director Gong's brother immediately starts bootlicking, praising the principal's commitment to the rules, and the principal launches into a grand speech about the school's noble purpose, calling the assessment a sacred tradition that shapes futures. But then he drops the bomb, asking if the school should be responsible for special factors ruining a student's chance, leaving the Director of Employment sweating, knowing he has been caught red-handed. He realizes this whole power play might be for Si Chen's benefit, so he decides not to pick a fight he cannot win and backs down completely. In his head, he tells Gong Ting he is on his own now but should still crush Si Chen's trash team. Publicly, though, he puts on a masterclass in ass-covering, blaming his own office for the oversight. He then announces a rule change: all teams can now register, completely undoing his own scheme. And just like that, Si Chen's team is officially formed. His dorm mates ecstatic, they finally get their shot and making him the captain. Meanwhile, the principal notes Ling Yu's interest in Si Chen is way stronger than he expected. And so the stage is set: Gong Ting's elite squad versus Si Chen's underdogs, with the principal watching this whole thing, curious which dungeon they will choose. An announcer steps up. It is time for team captains to pick their Devil's Cave, and a submission immediately pops up, shocking the announcer with its speed. Everyone's freaking out because it was Si Chen's team that just locked in. Then they see what he picked and the entire room just loses its mind, with his own teammates grabbing him, begging him to take it back. Si Chen just stares back, completely silent and looking absolutely terrifying. Turns out this assessment is a live fire exercise in a real dungeon, where scoring is simple: kill everything, kill the boss, and do it fast. And of course, harder dungeons give you a score multiplier for a higher max score, letting a perfect E-rank run hit 100 points for a guaranteed guild spot. This MVP even gets a management position and a $1 million bonus. Talk about high stakes. Students are whispering about the school record, which is 90 points. And everyone's betting Gong Ting's super team will be the one to break it. Meanwhile, another student's wristband pings with the submission, and he is just as stunned to see it as Si Chen's team. But then he sees the choice: a D-rank Devil's Cave. This screen confirming it, locking in the D-rank dungeon for our boys' team. This entire auditorium just explodes, since no graduate has ever even attempted a D-rank cave. His friend is absolutely losing it, screaming at Si Chen for his insane choice, while another teammate just collapses, having a full-on I am with a madman crisis. And the wristband notification confirms it: D-rank Devil's Cave, no takebacks, leaving his buddy to plead one last time, reminding him what D-rank actually means. But Si Chen just gives him that dead-eyed stare, saying he has thought it through. A system announcement then reveals Gong Ting also picked a D-rank dungeon, locking in his own team for the high-risk challenge, which sends the entire student body into a frenzy. 2 D-rank attempts is unheard of. Gong Ting's crew just sits back, looking smug as hell about the whole thing, with one of his teammates sneering that Si Chen's team is just faking it, claiming they are only desperate for attention since they are dead last anyway, and she is just waiting for the whole miserable team to fall apart on its own. Back with our boy, his friend is just staring, the panic finally gone, because he is noticing a powerful new aura around Si Chen, a real determination. And in that moment, he seems to finally understand the play, so he hits agreed on his wristband, vowing to follow him to the end, followed immediately by the others, who figure why not go out with a bang, leaving only the one guy who was having a meltdown earlier, who is now complaining that the dorm boss cannot be the last one to agree, before finally smashing the button himself, yelling, "Let us go crazy." A system notification pops up. It is official: Si Chen's team is locked in for the D-rank cave, and with his crew finally behind him, he turns to face them, apologizing for the insane choice but admitting he is aiming for MVP. His eyes are burning with a new fire as he lays out the stakes. Since they are all in this together, they might as well go for the highest score. Across the auditorium, Gong Ting rises, declaring the MVP title is his alone. But Si Chen just gives him a look, completely unfazed by the threat, while Gong Ting goes full-on Dark Horror mode, insisting there can only be one strongest. Watching from the side, Ling Yu is amused, noting she has never seen Gong Ting so worked up. Their rivalry is now officially public, a showdown for the entire school to witness. This principal, observing from above, just smiles at their youthful ambition. Ling Yu, however, thinks Si Chen is delusional, calling his plan impossible for their rank, and a quick graphic confirms the risk. A D-rank cave has a massive score multiplier. Even the principal's inner monologue calls it a terrible strategic choice for their team's strength. With only half a month left before the assessment, time is critically short, and while other students are in combat sims, a last-minute power-up is a pipe dream. So the old man just hopes Si Chen's team can at least put on a decent show. Cut to 17 days before the exam, and our boy's team is collapsed on a running track. His friend is absolutely losing it, complaining that everyone else is practicing their actual skills. But Si Chen's genius training regimen is dodgeball and sprints, because that is how you kill demons, obviously. Si Chen lays down the law, calling all their virtual combat practice meaningless theory. He lectures them that in a real dungeon, it is the crushing fear that gets you, not your textbook combos. Because when you are face-to-face with a giant maw of teeth, only your instincts will save you. And all this running, he explains, is to sharpen those life-or-death instincts. This school's training sims are a joke, he says. Real growth only happens in a real devil's cave. But of course, only the privileged elites get access to that kind of training, which we see in a flashback of some rich kid effortlessly cleaving monsters in 2, using his exclusive dungeon access to widen the power gap and stay on top forever. And this dude's been coasting on that privilege from the day he was born. Born with power others could not touch in a lifetime, totally fair, right? His friend finally shouts the million-dollar question, so what are the have-nots supposed to do? And Si Chen's answer is brutally simple: get the highest score and shatter the class system. This teammate with glasses realizes this assessment is their one and only shot to change their fate, and for Si Chen, surrounded by his own demons, it is his best chance as well. With a look of pure fire, he promises his team they are absolutely going to win this. Then we cut to 15 days left, and Si Chen is fighting cosmic panthers in some dream magic tower. But this training is no joke, as he gets absolutely shredded by one of the beasts, taking another brutal blow as the clock ticks down to just 10 days left. Meanwhile, back in reality, his team's intense training is still just running laps on the track, and while they are jogging, Si Chen is getting his soul rearranged by a space cat. With 5 days left, Si Chen is still grinding it out in the dream tower, while his team's intense training is still just push-ups. 2 days out, and our boy looks like he has been through absolute hell, but he has got the level up to prove it. He is a lightning assassin now. On the final day, covered in blood, he declares the real battle is just beginning. Finally, it is assessment day, and a cheerful little robot guide greets the students as Si Chen gets his game face on, gearing up for the dungeon. This whole team walks down the hall looking surprisingly focused for a suicide squad. An announcement rings out, the assessment officially begins as a portal crackles to life. Meanwhile, outside the admin building, some serious VIPs are pulling up. This principal is there to greet a chairman, Gong, looking all chummy, who is, of course, Gong Ting's dad, co-founder of the Empire Guild. Students are practically drooling from the windows, fawning over the big shot. But then a limo arrives, and everyone's wondering who could possibly be more important. As a new guy with slick back hair steps out of the car, it is Carl Cavendish, the vice chairman of the entire World Guild Alliance. This students absolutely lose their minds. This is a global-level player. Suddenly it all makes sense why security is so tight. This is a once-in-a-lifetime sighting. Everyone knows that just getting noticed by these guys could set you up for life. And an announcer lays out the numbers: 184 students, 28 teams, all fighting for their future. This VIPs get the official breakdown. Most teams played it safe, but 2 went for D rank. And this new exec, Sigrid, immediately questions the sanity of that choice, basically asking the principal if he warned these kids that D rank is where pros go to die. And he assures her they did, adding that most students can barely handle F rank mobs anyway. We get a look at the F rank challenge, a student zapping a goofy-looking salamander, where even the Lord version of that thing is a struggle for a whole team. But inside an E rank cave, every single monster is as strong as that F rank boss, and the place is just crawling with these nightmare-fuel beetle spiders, which has one student completely freaking out, realizing E rank is already impossible. Back in the viewing room, Sigrid asks about any safety measures for the students, and the principal gives a very corporate answer about precious resources, promising they have guards. These armed personnel are on standby at every portal, ready to jump in if things go south. Plus, every student's wristband has a built-in panic button for an emergency evac, which we see in action as a kid taps out, forfeiting his entire future on the spot. His whole team gets beamed out in a flash of red light, crying their eyes out, so much for a guild spot. Sigrid seems impressed, though, noting that 2 teams still chose the D-rank death trap, but the principal just smirks, saying he is curious to see how many asterisk minutes they last. On the live feed, a team is already struggling through the snow, and he is just waiting for them to quit. Then we cut to Si Chen's team entering their dungeon, a massive frozen forest peak, and their first greeter is a ghost bat monkey, which looks exactly as delightful as it sounds. Si Chen gives the team a quick rundown on the local wildlife: fast, aerial, and they love group attacks. And right on cue, a massive shadow falls over them in the snow. A whole swarm of these bat monkeys comes screaming out of the sky. sending his friend into a full-on "we are gonna die" panic. This first attack hits and one of the teammates goes flying, while another just eats snow, completely overwhelmed by the speed. Even the self-proclaimed dorm boss barely dodges a claw to the face. And the whole crew is just stunned they are not dead yet. That dodgeball paid off. But then a monster crashes down hard and his friend just stares in disbelief, because Cheon just solo cleared the entire wave in a flash of lightning. He turns to his team, basically telling them to stay put and try not to die, declaring with a crackle of energy that he is handling the rest himself. His teammates are still desperately dodging for their lives. And the dorm boss gets absolutely flattened against a tree for his trouble. It is then he finally understands, the training was never about fighting, it was just for survival. He also has the crushing realization that he was never the boss of anything. Meanwhile, Cheon is a one-man wrecking crew zipping between monsters, but the horde just keeps pouring in, a screaming tide of fur and fangs. His lightning attacks carve right through their ranks with brutal efficiency. As he launches himself into the air to finish this fight for good, this dorm boss is having a full-on existential crisis, finally seeing Cheon's true power. And our boy is absolutely crackling with energy, looking less like a student and more like a pro as his lightning tears through the swarm in a beautiful, deadly light show. This guy's entire self-worth just got vaporized, realizing he has been left completely in the dust. But just as they are processing, a teammate spots another bat monkey diving in for a sneak attack, and the dorm boss actually reacts, catching the monster's claw mid-swipe. His fist suddenly glowing with some serious fiery power. He roars that they cannot just be deadweights relying on Cheon, which sparks a fire in the other two teammates. This is their exam too. So the dorm boss decides it is time to stop being a background character and actually fight. Inspired, another teammate unleashes a blast of green energy, summoning a tangle of vines from the snowy ground to ensnare the beasts. His spell actually works, snagging one of the creatures right out of the air, but a much bigger one just shreds through the vines like they are wet paper, and the caster is stunned. That was his best shot and it did basically nothing. So the teammate with glasses steps up, blasting a monster with a frost spell, yelling that he has slowed it down for a combo attack. And the vine user powers up again, ready for round 2. Their powers combine into a frost breeze plus vine lock, a perfect icy prison, leaving the dorm boss to leap in with a fireball for the finishing blow. This dorm boss goes full anime, launching a burst flame bullet, and the attack connects with a massive fiery impact, but the monster just screams through the flames, barely singed. Realizing his target is a total tank, he unleashes a whole volley of fireballs, which pepper the beast in a series of smaller explosions. Meanwhile, the vine user is about to pop a blood vessel trying to hold his spell, and the glasses wearer is also completely tapped out. So the dorm boss decides to go all out, gathering a massive fire vortex. His face contorted in a "this is my final form" scream. His ultimate attack goes off like a tactical nuke, obliterating the target. After all that, a little robot cheerfully announces they killed exactly one monster. This 3 of them collapse in a heap, celebrating their single D-rank kill like they just won the war. While Cheon just watches them from the sidelines looking thoughtful. They are all gawking at their loot drop. A single finger bone, congrats guys, and the dorm boss, completely spent, tries to play it cool, saying it was easy, just as Cheon stands over them while the robot announces all the other monsters are dead. Back in the control room, the principal is having a full-blown aneurysm, because the live feed confirms these trash students actually killed a D-rank monster. This big shot VIPs, however, are just watching in stony silence, until a new guy with purple hair notes that one student is performing exceptionally well. On the monitor, the purple-haired VIP is still watching Cheon's feed, and he notes that our boy looks a lot like an old acquaintance of his, deciding right then and there to remember the name Cheon. Chairman Gong, however, looks less than thrilled by this sudden interest. While the principal is just sweating bullets trying to manage the room, he quickly changes the subject, pointing out the other D-rank team has made it to the middle, and on their feed, a team is absolutely tearing through monsters with flawless execution. Sigrid is genuinely impressed, saying their coordination is on par with a professional guild raid, which gets a nod from the purple-haired guy, who admits this year's graduates are pretty good. This principal gets all smug, acting like this was his plan all along. As we see this other team facing off against some D-rank poison mushroom monsters, a girl with a guitar-like weapon casts a debuff spell called Elegy of Decay, while another teammate gathers a massive ball of purple energy, unleashing a stellar attraction spell that pulls all the monsters into a neat little pile. This sets up the perfect shot for their captain, who steps in to finish the job, and with a single fiery slash he completely wipes them out. It is Gong Ting, of course, looking like the main character of someone else's story. His team just stands around looking bored, complaining that this is a breeze, with one guy smugly realizing the whole assessment was rigged for them by their backers. Convinced they are guaranteed to be champions, they head off to find the boss. After clearing the mobs, Cheon leads his team through the blizzard toward the peak, and they actually make it, celebrating their arrival at the D-rank dungeon's apex. Their final boss is waiting, a hulking, wounded ice ghost ape looking very unhappy. His teammates immediately start doing the math on how many ways that thing could kill them, and with those glowing red eyes, it looks ready to try every single one. This glasses wearer completely loses it when the monster looks their way. So as his friends flee for their lives, Cheon just stands there unimpressed. He meets the ape's charge with a lightning-fast kick directly to its face, but the beast actually blocks the blow, shattering the ground with the impact. Cheon zips out of the way of a massive slam, completely untouchable, before winding up and delivering a devastating lightning punch to its jaw. This attack just rips right through the monster, blowing it to pieces in a flash. His team can only stare, their brains completely fried from watching that execution. Over the fresh corpse, Cheon gets his loot drop, a single ice ape pelt. He is actually annoyed, thinking the exp is pathetic and the drops are trash for a D-rank boss. But then a teammate starts screaming about finding a ton of mana stones, frantically waving him over to a strange rock spire nearby. Tucked inside is a massive, glittering cluster of high-grade mana crystals. And the team is already planning their retirement, drooling over their new fortune. Cheon's expression changes though as he yells for them to wait. His warning comes too late, a teammate touches the crystal, and the whole team gets blasted by a flash of freezing energy. While Cheon instantly realizes this was a trap, of course. This ground erupts in a massive ice burst bomb, flash freezing his teammates and their little robot buddy solid. Back in the control room, their feed cuts out completely, signal lost. Chairman Gong smirks, calling them trash who got what they deserved, prompting the principal to panic, wanting to send in a rescue team immediately. But the purple-haired VIP calmly tells everyone to just wait. Another official points out their vitals are stable, they are not dead yet, arguing the choice to quit should be theirs alone. On the ground, the glasses wearer lets out a world-ending sneeze, shivering while his friends are literally human popsicles behind him. Then a creepy laugh echoes as a new, much bigger threat appears, a terrifying ice lick floating over him, the true boss of this dungeon. This monster just looms there, enjoying the absolute terror on his face, and the kid recognizes it from his studies, a cloud mage that loves to toy with its victims. It is the Frostbone Skeleton King, and that ice bomb was its welcome mat. Realizing this is a C-rank lord, the kid makes a run for it. He has got no shot. But not far off, Cheon is already on the move, ready to intervene. This kid's escape is cut short by an ice spike straight through the calf, and from high above, the Skeleton King just cackles at the tiny mortal trying to flee. His system helpfully asks if he'd like to forfeit now that he is bleeding out in the snow. But he screams, "I refuse," reaching out to cast a spell on Cheon's ice block. He is using a purifying origin chant, banking everything on Cheon's recovery, though the Skeleton King immediately interrupts with another spike right through his shoulder. He collapses to the ground, his purification attempt failing completely, and the boss is just loving this, laughing its bony head off at the whole display, deciding to end this by summoning a storm of ice bone spikes, which pepper him with more wounds, triggering yet another "wanna quit" prompt. This time though, he is just furious, his eyes glowing with pure defiance. He flashes back to a lifetime of being bullied and left behind, remembering how they all risked everything just to get this far, and how this was their one shot to finally change their fate. With a final surge of resolve, he screams that he will never give up, trying the purifying origin spell again while pushing through the agony, pouring every last drop of his power into freeing Cheon. His desperate spell actually forms a shield, deflecting the king's attack, as the purification light flares up, focused on Cheon's frozen hand. Finally, the ice prison begins to crack and shatter from the inside. With a final, desperate scream, the kid pours out all his power, and inside the ice, Cheon's eyes flash open, glowing gold. He erupts in a divine flash, shattering his prison completely, which leaves the Skeleton King absolutely stunned. Now free, Cheon zips over to catch his falling teammate, who weakly jokes that his spell did not do much after all. Cheon tells him he was a huge help, checking on his wounds, and the kid quickly warns him this is a C-rank lord they are facing. But just as they are about to retreat, Cheon stops him cold, because the Skeleton King is already casting another massive ice bomb. This boss is just cackling, enjoying its overwhelming power. While his teammate panics, screaming that there is no way to dodge, a giant ball of spiky death hurtles right for them, and the king just floats there, enjoying the show from above, until it realizes its attack just stopped. Down below, the massive ice bomb is frozen midair, completely neutralized, and there is Cheon radiating a frosty aura, revealing his frost physique skill. This Skeleton King's jaw hits the floor. This is literally impossible. His friend is just as confused, wondering why a lightning assassin has ice powers, before it dawns on him that Cheon is a 1-in-a-million prodigy. This teammate's mind is absolutely blown. Cheon is a dual-class awakener. Cheon apologizes for getting them frozen, initiating a full-on class switch, and as the transformation completes, he promises that is not happening again. Now in his purgatory Cassiopeia form, he declares the fight is over right now. His friend's brain just short-circuits, unable to process what he is seeing. We get a quick lesson. Normally, an awakener gets exactly one class, but in a 1 in 10 million case, someone can awaken two. There are less than 10 of these prodigies on the entire planet, and guilds fight over them. And this kid is just now realizing his D-rank teammate is one of them. Cheon just smirks, counting on his fingers. 1 class, then he flexes his ice powers. 2 classes. Before revealing a 3rd class, leaving his friend absolutely speechless. Not only that, but every single one of his classes is terrifyingly strong with maxed out stats. He unleashes a torrent of raw power, erupting from the ground in a massive pillar, then brings his giant energy sword down on the totally unprepared Skeleton King. His teammate can only watch, remembering how oppressive the boss's aura was. But under Cheon's blade, that C-rank lord looks like a complete joke. A triple gravity strike in hypermass mode completely atomizes the monster. This once terrifying king just dissolves into dust, totally annihilated, and just like that it is victory with a level up and a shiny new spear. His teammate is still kneeling, mind completely blown that Cheon one-shot a C-rank lord. Cheon meanwhile just wants to know if the kid has enough mana to unfreeze their friends. With a jolt of panic, the guy remembers their teammates and sprints off to help them. But over the boss's remains, a very interesting prompt pops up: devourable. Cheon's eyes glow red as he reaches out, ready to absorb that power for himself. This skeleton king's essence gets sucked right into him, a nice little post-battle snack. His fist clenches, crackling with all that newly acquired energy, and just like that he gets a new class card, the C-rank Frostbone Spirit King. A quick glance around confirms no one saw that little power-up. He is already thinking about the cameras, knowing he cannot expose all his secrets just yet. Then a system notification glitches over his chest, letting him know his Lightning Assassin class just hit 100% proficiency. He is a little confused, wondering what this new star he just obtained is. Meanwhile, we cut over to Gong Ting's team in a totally different dungeon. Things are going great for them, if by great you mean getting tossed around like ragdolls. They are up against a D-rank lord, a giant devouring flora, and it is not even a contest. One guy is screaming that he cannot hold it back, his energy fists completely useless. Their archer fires off a volley of lightning arrows, putting everything he has got into it, which just bounce right off the monster's hide. Its defense is insane. With a single swipe, the plant sends the whole team flying, utterly defeated. One of Gong Ting's teammates is having a full-blown panic attack, screaming they are outmatched, putting all their faith in their guild master to somehow save them. Meanwhile, Gong Ting is just charging up, absorbing buffs from his entire team, and with his eyes glowing red, he decides he's got enough power. He unleashes a massive, fiery slash that tears across the battlefield, rocketing straight for the giant plant monster's face. With a classic villain scream, he yells for it to burn to ashes, and the whole dungeon is consumed by a blinding flash of light. This nuclear warrior ultimate move is definitely not subtle. After the dust settles, his team is already celebrating, calling him a total badass. A system notification confirms it. They cleared the D-rank dungeon in 35 minutes flat, which nets them a perfect score and a new school record. Back in the hallway, Gong Ting's lackey is already gloating about their time, laughing that anyone else leaving now must be the trash who forfeited early. Of course, right next to them are students having actual PTSD flashbacks, with one girl still shaking, completely traumatized by the experience. Then the bully spots another team sitting quietly in the corner, and a very punchable smirk spreads across his face. It is Cheon's group, and he immediately assumes they bylaid, just as he predicted. He calls out to Cheon, who just looks up, meeting his gaze with glowing red eyes. Gong Ting's lackey immediately starts running his mouth, mocking our boys' team for failing, but his boss tells him to knock it off, because some serious Vips just walked in, led by the vice chairman himself. This guy is just gushing, absolutely thrilled by the brilliant performance he just witnessed. And he is all smiles, looking like the smuggest executive on the planet. His whole entourage glides down the hall, heading right for Gong Ting's team, and the lackey is totally starstruck, geeking out that a world-class powerhouse is here. So Gong Ting preps his best corporate smile, extending a hand for a handshake, and the vice chairman just blows right past him without a single glance. Turns out he was heading for Cheon the whole time, calling him truly remarkable. Then he announces to everyone that Cheon's team cleared their dungeon in 21 minutes flat. A time so good, he says, that even a professional guild would be jealous, and the bully's face just melts in pure, unadulterated shock. Cheon just stands there, completely unfazed, while his team nervously greets the big shot. Our boy knows exactly who this is: Carl Cavendish, basically the second most powerful man alive. Carl formally asks for his name, confirming this trip was definitely worth his time, before throwing a little pity praise Gong Ting's way, for appearances. This guy in sunglasses with Gong Ting just smarms his way through a thank you, but the look he gives his young master is definitely not congratulations. With the new pecking order firmly established, Carl decides he has seen enough and heads out. Carl's right-hand man is just gushing, telling the principal he hit a once-in-a-millennium jackpot. So the principal steps up to make the official announcement about the tie, declaring both teams are eligible to join the Empire Guild, and Cheon's crew absolutely loses it, while Gong Ting's side celebrates their one-way ticket to the top, though he looks less than thrilled. This deal gets even sweeter. Both captains get management jobs and will split the $1 million MVP prize, which, judging by the death glares, is not a popular decision with either of them. Cheon's already doing the math, realizing 500k is not gonna cut it for a promise he made, but Gong Ting is not a fan of sharing, declaring there can only be one champion, and he demands a one-on-one tiebreaker to settle the score for good. This principal and Gong Ting's handler are both like, "Excuse me, what?" Even the big shot vice chairman seems pretty interested in this little drama. And the principal tries to shut it down, saying the test is over and Cheon would not agree anyway, but our boy speaks up with a little condition of his own, asking if a win means he gets to keep the entire $1 million prize. This causes the principal to do a full-on anime-style spit take, and Gong Ting accepts immediately. If Cheon can beat him, the money's all his. Carl, the vice chairman, is absolutely loving this, calling the whole thing interesting. So the stage is set for a bonus round with the two prodigies facing off. Cheon gets right to it, asking how they are gonna settle this. While a new player watching from afar notes that Chen did not just win, he shattered all expectations. This mysterious spectator from before is actually Chen's benefactor who just wiped his 1.5 million debt clean. But our boy just sits there, cool as a cucumber, listening to the offer. And with his eyes glowing, he insists a debt is a debt and he will pay it back. In this ridiculously fancy room, Chen gets straight to business, saying he is here for 2 reasons. First of which is asking for a 1-week extension since the prize money got cut in half. He explains the whole tiebreaker duel against Gong set to happen in a week at a devil's cave, which makes his benefactor completely lose it. A devil's cave is no place for students. But Chen just brushes off the concern, totally confident he will win and get the rest of the cash. As interest for the extension, he even offers up all the materials he loots from the cave, which just floors the money guy who realizes Chen has zero fear, only a focus on the deal. Then the benefactor reveals there is another, even more important reason he is here. Chen's expression does not change, ready for whatever's coming next. And the benefactor leans in, about to get to the real point of this visit. We then jump to a middle school in the afternoon, a complete scene change, where a student stretches, absolutely thrilled that final exams are finally over, and with a smile she checks her phone, ready for summer vacation to begin. But then a thought strikes her, oh right, because her phone wallpaper is a picture of her and her brother, reminding her today's his big graduation test. This triggers a flashback to 4 years ago, with a younger Chen losing his mind over his acceptance letter, and his little sister is just beaming, asking if he will be an awakener just like their parents were. In the flashback, a younger Chen promises his sister he will make bank in a top guild, and with that power he will finally uncover the truth about their parents' disappearance. His sister is his #1 fan, absolutely convinced he is gonna be the best awakener ever. But reality hits hard. He is a senior and still has not awakened, much to his despair. She tries to reassure him that it is totally fine, so he forces a smile, saying he just needs to keep grinding, classic big brother move. Back in the present, her phone reminds her that he was the only one who failed to awaken. She knows he must have felt so alone, but he never once showed his pain to her. A friend suddenly pops up, calling her by name Zio Yun. And this friend is buzzing with gossip about 2 new genius graduates from the university, who apparently scored perfects and got praised by the vice chairman himself. Then comes the awkward question, hey, is not that your brother's school? And she just freezes. Before she can answer, some pink-haired pretty boy interrupts, greeting Zio Yun, and he immediately invites her to a private penthouse room for the evening real smooth. Her friend is absolutely losing it, wondering how she knows the school idol, while Zio Yun looks mortified. So she does the only logical thing, she just bolts. Her friend is left totally confused, asking why she is running off so fast, and it all comes flooding back, the memory of her brother crying, so she decides to go make him a feast. We cut to that night inside their humble rented apartment, where she has prepared an absolutely legendary hot pot spread to cheer him up. Chen is floored, asking his sister Zio Yun how she made this whole feast, and he is absolutely loving the hot pot while she watches on, still thinking he is secretly devastated. In the background, the evening news starts a segment on the graduation combat assessment, but our boy just keeps eating, totally oblivious to the TV report mentioning Carl Cavendish. Zio Yun is still convinced he is just acting tough after failing his big test. But then the news announces a highly rare dual champion outcome from the assessment. Carl Cavendish is shown at a press conference, heaping praise on the event and one student in particular, and the anchor names that student as Chen, making Zio Yun's eyes go wide. She jolts up from her seat, completely stunned by the reveal. Her face is pure disbelief, asterisk her asterisk brother, the one with the perfect score. We then jump to a much darker scene, where Gong Ting's handler is having a little chat. He is standing over a bruised Gong Ting, saying he set the stage and invited an audience for him. This handler is absolutely furious, telling him he completely botched the performance. With pure venom, he says Gong Ting did not just lose, he lost to a complete nobody. From this point on, the handler is calling the shots. He has already arranged the tiebreaker. Gong Ting can only bow his head in shame, having lost all control of the situation. His handler is practically shaking with rage, declaring first place belongs to the Gong family, period. Back in the apartment, the news report is still gushing about the twin geniuses, and Carl's speech continues, focusing on the one team leader who truly stood out. So Zio Yun hears it again, the name Chen, as the reality finally sinks in. Zio Yun's head snaps around, her eyes wide with total shock. Because the news anchor just named asterisk her asterisk brother as the perfect scorer. And the broadcast continues with Carl Cavendish himself singing Chen's praises. So she finally turns to him, stammering to ask if he is that Chen. But our boy just keeps eating, casually confirming it like it is no big deal, ice cold. This revelation is so intense, her spoons literally drop to the floor, and outside, a bolt of lightning cracks the sky for maximum dramatic effect. Her mind is just reeling, repeating, my brother, my own brother. It is all sinking in, the perfect score, the praise from the vice chairman, everything. An incredibly awkward silence hangs between them at the dinner table, until tears start to stream down her face, a smile breaking through. Because her silly brother actually did it, he made it to the very top. Chen just watches her, probably wondering if she has finally lost it. Elsewhere on that same night, we cut to a much fancier meal, where some pink-haired pretty boy is savoring some premium Wagyu beef. And he smirks, asking his companion for a progress report. Across the table sits a blonde woman named Kite looking all business in a trench coat, who slides over a tablet containing all the reports she has compiled, revealing a top-secret file on an entity called the Devourer, who has been dormant for a year, and the report ominously suggests their target might already be onto them. This pink-haired school idol tells his agent to eat up, job well done. But Kite, his blonde associate, has one more thing to report, revealing she has been tracking a suspicious person who recently made contact with him, and this individual's power has spiked way too fast, calling the growth rate abnormal, which is the understatement of the century. Meanwhile, Cheon is inside the Devil Tower, already level 17 and clearing house. His stats are absolutely juiced, especially speed, and he is now used to 10x gravity. Plus, he has learned that using a class increases its proficiency, earning him a bonus star, which means none of his 4 classes are even maxed out yet, so he dumps that new point straight into speed, pushing it to a rank assassin levels. Even with all that power, he is now facing a pack of glowing space panthers, and they are snarling, ready to pounce, led by a boss on the ridge, who turns out to be the floor's lord, a giant cosmic lion he cannot seem to touch. With a roar, the pack charges him all at once, so Cheon unleashes a divine flash, ready to counter, zipping between them in a blur of lightning to dodge the initial assault. But the Lion Lord has a seriously annoying defense mechanism, because every time Cheon tries to attack it, the thing just vanishes, reappearing next to its most distant minion, a perfect escape artist, so their formation is always shifting but never breaks, keeping him constantly boxed in. Cheon clocks the Lion Lord's strategy. It is a total coward, always staying back, and he realizes this boss has zero intention of ever fighting him directly. He is left wondering what kind of class has this ridiculous bodyguard skill. Just then, another one of the Space Panthers lunges right at him, so our boy powers up his lightning, ready to meet it head-on, and he grabs the thing right by the face with an electrified hand, but the panther just vanishes in a flash of purple light again. It is the same cheap trick. Every time he goes for a kill, the target just poofs, reappearing right next to the Lion Lord, safe and sound, because of course it does. This second he stops, another one charges in to bait him into the same trap. So Cheon powers up both hands, clearly done playing these games, zipping through the battlefield in a blur of yellow and purple light. But their formation is flawless, always maintaining distance and control. He is stuck in an endless loop of attacks and blocks, because every time he lands a solid hit, the target just vanishes, instantly shifting the entire pack's position to reset the fight. A new panther immediately takes its place, continuing the relentless assault, forcing him to dodge an attack that was never really a threat to begin with. This whole thing is just a massive, unending war of attrition, and Cheon is finally starting to look winded, absolutely fed up with this boss. Cheon realizes this cosmic lion is just toying with him, but then a light bulb goes off in his head, a new idea. Why is he even trying to outspeed a teleporting enemy? Time for a little mid-battle class change, because if the boss will not fight him head-on, then he will just become a mage and nuke the whole arena. And just like that, he is a Frostcore Archmage, new look and all, immediately unleashing a Frost Spike attack from the sky. This ice shards absolutely shred the battlefield, forcing the Panthers to scatter, and the Lion Lord can only watch its perfect formation get wrecked. Our boy knows the deal, mages are squishy, but at range they own everything. This big cat looks up as the sky literally starts falling on its head, and its minions start getting picked off one by one. No more cheap teleports. In a panic, the whole pack tries to escape through a portal, but they are all corralled into a single spot right where he wants them. With a clench of his icy fist, he springs the trap, skewering the Lion Lord right through the head with a massive ice spike. But he is not done, prepping a frost-blessed bomb for good measure, because now there is absolutely nowhere left to hide. This boss lets out one last terrified roar before getting completely erased, and the frost-blessed bomb goes off, just a massive wave of pure ice energy, completely engulfing the entire floor in a blinding flash of light, catching the Lion Lord and its entire pack in a flash freeze that shatters them instantly. Before the ice even settles, he is already switching classes again, this time to some kind of purple aura warrior, and with that, he announces the first floor of the Dreadspire is officially cleared, looking like he barely broke a sweat, honestly. Elsewhere, some other dude in a stellar warrior class is just wrecking a monster with a triple cataclysm attack, landing gracefully as a whole pack of purple beasts just dissolves around him. One of the creatures, a white lion, completely fades out of existence, just vanishing into thin air with a final whoosh. Back with Cheon, the entire floor is now an icy wasteland, with only a single purple orb left behind. And of course he gets a level up, hitting 24 and snagging some sweet boss loot. But the real asterisk prize is the system prompt. The Lion Lord's corpse can be devoured, so he gets right to it, reaching out to absorb its essence, demanding to know what kind of class the boss even had. This corpse's energy flows into his hand, basically a data download, pulling all its dark, shadowy power right into his palm. And he gets his answer, a full stat card for the Lion King Phantomane, a stellar tamer class. A tamer, he has never encountered a class like this before, and it all clicks. The boss itself was a total glass cannon, hiding behind its pets the entire fight. This tamer's skills are laid bare, a stellar pact to forcibly contract beasts, and Cheon admits the teleport is cool, but taming requires intimidation, which just sounds like a headache. Just then, the entire icy illusion shatters around him, revealing the Dreadspare's first floor is actually a massive, desolate desert. He surveys the total wasteland, littered with the bones of giant creatures, until a pillar of fiery energy erupts from a distant dune, which turns out to be the portal to the second floor finally open, but a low growl echoes from the darkness because of course it is not over yet, making him whip his head around, instantly on alert. This sound is coming from inside one of the giant ribcages. And out crawls a tiny, fluffy lion cub, bound in glowing purple chains and trying its best to look tough. This leaves Cheon completely baffled he missed one. He powers up a lightning blade ready to deal with the straggler, but then it hits him. This one did not vanish when the boss died. Those stellar chains were not a bond, they were a prison. So with a new plan in mind, his lightning flares with purpose, and the little cub just stares in pure, unadulterated terror, as Cheon zips past and shatters its chains with a single strike. Turning back, he tells the newly freed cub he is giving it its freedom, then asks if this desert was its home all along. Cheon gives the cub a classic "we are not so different" speech about loss, and the tiny fluffball seems to actually get the tragic backstory dump, offering a final stay alive before turning to leave for the next floor. But just as he is walking away, a strange sound pings right in his ear. A system window reveals a contract request from the cub, offering shared exp and a live danger cam, which completely catches Cheon off guard because that was not the plan, and now he has to decide whether to accept a pact with Lion King Leo.